The ARRMA Nero or the ARRMA OutCast, which you prefer, do have your say in the comments section below the video. I brought them both outside to play with today, to put them head to head, both on grass, blacktop and dirt, and explain a few of the differences between the cars. I've done a review of both of these on the bench side by side. This is one I've been wanting to do for a while, running them outside to talk about the differences as to how they handle, what's good, what's bad about both of them. Well, first of all, I'm going to run both the cars out on the dirt, just to explain the differences. Whilst both cars have got 3 differentials, the ARRMA Nero's 3 diffs can be controlled from the transmitter. You can have them all locked, 2 of them locked, centre locked, or all 3 unlocked. So that's when I put it on for the minute, so we'll head down to the paddock. On the same note, the ARRMA OutCast doesn't have that same thing on a transmitter. All 3 diffs on it are permanently unlocked, which does give it that massive wheeling ability from the outset. Well, the one thing I would say is the Nero's body is not anywhere near as tough as the OutCast is, but in general, if you feed the power in, it handles better at speed than the OutCast does. It doesn't turn quite as sharp as the OutCast does. The ARRMA Nero does have is a drift mode, which can send the thing flat on its lid. The ARRMA Nero has a diff mode which locks the centre diff and the rear diff, enabling you to steer the thing a lot more on the throttle. Now, that drift mode, you really do need loose dirt to get the best out of it, like this. Whereas before, you couldn't really steer it so much on the throttle. You can very much steer it on the throttle now. Whoa, 360 spin. Well, the ARRMA OutCast is a completely different beast on dirt. For one thing, it wants to wheelie even on loose dirt. It's far better in terms of being able to steer it on the throttle. You can certainly put some viciousness into power on the turns. But it still wants to wheelie all the time. This is on the lower of the 2 gears, but you can really flick the tail out a lot more than you can with the Nero. It's a lot easier to turn at... it's a lot easier to make short turns with. But at the same time, that thing, the wheeling thing is great fun, but it can become annoying when it wants to do it, maybe all the time, but you just need to feed the power in a bit more. At higher speed though, it is not quite as comfortable as Nero's. Braking though is exceptional. The drive shaft has dropped out yet again. The one thing Nero doesn't do, and I know you can adjust it, is it doesn't want to brake quite as quick as the OutCast does straight out the box, but it is carrying quite a bit more weight. And the high-speed handling though is very, very good. The one thing I would recommend is fitting that wheelie bar that I fitted to this thing. As you see, they've got a few body issues with the car on there. A lot of the body issues stemmed from the original pounding that it took when I didn't have the wheelie bar on, and the car had just come out and ARRMA didn't supply the wheelie bar for another 2 weeks. Overall though, high-speed blacktop handling, I would say outdoes the OutCast. You need to feed the power in for sure, but you can see up there we're doing some serious speed. I mean, the thing is will hit, I think I hit about 60 plus miles an hour out with the optional pinion fitted to it, which is a bit of a pig to do, and that drive shaft has dropped out again, which is really beginning to annoy me. I'm just going to tackle that drive shaft issue on the Nero. The one thing I would say, out of the 2 cars, while this is better at higher speed, in my opinion anyway, I find it more stable at higher speed. The tyres give less grip when it's wet, particularly on blacktop. The tyres when it's wet give less grip on grass than the OutCast do. Overall, this car is not the easiest of things to work on. If you want something that's nice and easy to work on, for opinion change is going to take you under 10 minutes. Get the OutCast. It's more like 45 minutes to change the pinion on the Nero here. So anyway, I'm going to go and fix that shaft, and let's see if we can finish the video. Well, the OutCast on blacktop, it will flip completely. Well, the OutCast on blacktop, as you can see there, has got a vicious lunge, and after a fashion, you can get it to do complete backflips. It does take a bit of practice. That's not maybe the best example. The wheelie thing, it can just wheel it pretty much at any speed. Braking, exceptional on Blacktop, particularly while the thing can hit 60 miles an hour flat out, it brakes very, very well. Better, more so than the Nero, but the Nero's maybe carrying quite a lot more weight than this. It is certainly seems to be a lot more durable maybe than the Nero does. He says, fingers crossed. It is less seems to go wrong. It's not as complicated and less seems to go wrong as a result of it. One weak point is actually the roll bar mount here. I've replaced these with the RPM ones, and the wing has come loose from recent heavy landings on there. But that's the only weak point I would say on the car. Body overall much tougher than the ARRMA Nero. I was a bit disappointed with the ARRMA Nero. I've got a new body, which I've got in a minute. Tyres completely different to the Nero. A lot more grip on a multitude of surfaces, but maybe not quite as good at high-speed handling on Blacktop with the profile of them. Has a slightly, maybe slightly shorter wheelbase. I'll have to put them side by side to see. But and that, whilst fun to do for a while, if that constantly happens, can become a little bit annoying, but that's more down to personal throttle control and just feeding the power in. So to build up that speed, you've really got to feed the power in some. How do we handle on grass? Okay, we will wheel it at any speed on any surface. Doesn't matter whether it's loose grass or not. Doesn't matter if it's loose dirt, wet grass, it'll just wheel it over anything going. Still very, very good handling, but it seems to sort of love if you ease off the throttle and then turn in. That seems the best way to get the handling out of it. Well, while the Nero's got a dedicated climb mode, the Outcast is not too bad at getting over things. Well, there you can immediately see the ability of the Outcast over rocks. It ain't going to be great. That's with all three diffs being unlocked, whereas the Nero has a climb mode, which I'll demonstrate in just a second, where you can lock all three differentials, making for good progress. You still need to feed the power in very gently though. I'm sure if I attack this a bit more aggressively, we'd get over and through like that, and then get stuck on a rock like that for filming. Okay, well, the Nero has its party trick of being able to lock all three diffs, and should climb up that much better. But however, the tyres do let it down at times. They're maybe not quite as grippy as the Outcasts are. And speaking of which, I've just seen an issue there which I need to quickly sort by pushing that back in, which hopefully we should be okay. But there we are, rest of the test. ARRMA tough, and the front ones come out as well. Too much fun playing around on the dirt there. Its high-speed ability, to my mind, is blistering. You see that it doesn't want to turn quite as quick as the Outcast does, but that speed is, in general, to my mind, handles better. Well, they both handle the bumps fairly well, I would say, although it's only a fairly mild bump coming through any kind of thing like that. They're not too, neither of them is particularly worried by anything too bumpy. They really have got excellent suspension, although Nero will end over end more easily than the Outcast will. Well, the ARRMA Nero or the ARRMA Outcast. Now on that performance, you'd have to go with the Outcast. The Nero has been nothing but problematic today. It's normally runs pretty much fine until I come to video it today, and it just seems to play up endlessly. Hopefully it's giving you a good demonstration though of the different handabilities of the Nero and the Outcast. Which one would you buy from new? Please do comment away in the section. Which one would you buy from new? Please do comment away as to which one you prefer the most. You might have one, you might have the other. They're very different in the nature of their handling and the way they're kind of put together. The Nero has got the 3 independent diffs which can be locked or unlocked from the transmitter, giving you a variety of options on there. But as you can see, it's maybe got more mechanical issues than the Outcast has, which is simpler, lighter weight, but not maybe as great at handling at higher speed, but handles better on wet grass, which is probably a good consideration for most people, depending on where you play. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video review of the ARRMA Nero and the ARRMA OutCast. If you did, then you will see more of these cars, particularly when I fix the Nero, then please do subscribe.
Well, if you like this video, then please do subscribe. And if you want to buy your RC gear, where I buy mine, buy from F&M Hobbies in New Jersey. Many thanks for watching.